Now it doesn't have to be exact because I'm gonna cut the collage a little bit bigger so it sits behind the mat, because if you make it too small, it'll slip through the opening. Typically I will make it a little bigger than the opening, and I do that by lifting up the mat, and then you take the pencil and you can use the ridge of the pencil edge to keep the straight line, but it doesn't go exactly where the edge of the opening is, so it's just a little bit bigger. And it doesn't have to be exact. You can always cut a little bigger if you're afraid that it's going to be too small. Okay, why don't we do a magenta? I'm going to start to bring some scraps in here and layer. I have to go sharpen my pencil though. And I'm not really going for perfection here. I don't care about that so much. It's kind of nice, but I think I want a ripped edge on this because it's kind of boring with that straight edge. Give it a little texture. And when I'm composing, I like to work in thirds, so I never really put things right in the middle half like that. I want to either a little more red, probably here. Take some risks. And it's not really going to matter if I mess up because I have so many pieces of material here that I have a lot to work from. And you know, I'm not doing a literal translation of this. I'm just using it as reference because I am, after all, an abstract artist. What we could do is take some of this deli paper. And what's really nice about these transparent layers is cutting right, just intersecting the pattern, because it makes a really interesting edge. It's gonna start getting really messy here, I know. I usually create a mess when I collage. That's kind of interesting. And light. Ooh, I like that. I'm gonna do that. So that contrast of the light and the dark is just a necessity here for a good composition, an interesting composition. I think we could just do that and that would be beautiful. And I might just leave it at that. That as a starting point. So I'm working in thirds. I think I'm gonna take this ripped part and put it on top because it creates that nice jagged layer there. So everything's not just straight lines. Although the Kilim fabric is fairly geometric, I'm gonna break that for a second. Let's see. Now, I think these colors are too similar. I think there's not enough contrast between those, although that is really beautiful. Kind of nice. Like that. That's fun. That's nice. I really like that magenta and ochre, and I could just have this sort of peeking through the composition. Just have a feeling this is going to work somehow. I don't know how. But if I find my composition there. It doesn't have to be exact because we want a little extra room when it's actually a little small, so I might have to add some paper there. So as I started collaging these pieces together, they're very small, and that's not to say they won't look awesome in here when you put them all together, but I want to see what maybe a bigger square will look like. And so I'm going to open this up and I'm going to take out the smaller mat board, and I'm going to wear gloves because if there's one thing I can't stand is getting my greasy fingerprints or smudge on the mat board and you can just never get it off. It's like, I've tried many things. You know, the painting white over it, it's never the right white and it looks bad and then it has to be thrown away. So I'm gonna be very careful when I open this. So I'm gonna pop that out, put that aside, and now there's two mats in here, and I'm gonna see that size might be a little better. This opening is 5.5 square. So that would mean, now let me just see, think about that. Now that's a much larger collage. I have to make a decision. I suppose I could do 4 tiny ones and 4 big ones like that. But if I want to present them in a show or a gallery, I want them all to be the same. So I know what I'll do. In fact, I'm going to test out one of the pieces I did in the little mat, and hopefully it won't get the mat dirty by putting that art in there, but let's see what that looks like. Let's see what that looks like. I mean, so cute, right? I'm just kind of in love with that tininess. But isn't that great? That looks great. I think I'm gonna do the tiny ones. It's just so adorable. So I've got 2. And let's move on to some more. Black, that's nice. Like these really subtle dots. And those could be really fun. Just really simple, clean. I like the gray against the purple here, although there's not a lot of contrast going on. I could do like some really thin strips. Nice. The white is a nice contrast. I like that. So, yellow and ochre and purple are beautiful because they are opposite the color wheel. So I'll try something like that. Interesting. Fun. Kind of reminds me of a 60s pattern. Oh, I like that. I'm actually really liking that black line across there. Maybe glue here. I'm going to glue this this guy on here, and I'm going to just make a little mark off to the side so I know where the top of that corner is. Otherwise, I would forget where I placed it. Right about there. And then, that looks great. I love that. Oh, maybe a little bit more because we might have put these in here. And then this goes here, right? And this goes here. Yeah, just don't cut it too close to the edge or it will never fit. Yep. We could do like, I guess I could cut out like a diamond pattern from that. And I like one edge is ripped and one edge is straight. That's very nice. push one of the triangles back. This guy. There, softer. Leave that on top. Maybe hint a little tease of this raspberry color underneath. That's nice. Look at that. I got a little bit of the raspberry color in there. I don't want everything too centered and organized. I want a little off kilter. Maybe even if we tilt this, it might add some interest so it's not boring. Sometimes I have to look away and rest my eyes because when I'm staring at for something too long, my eyes get accustomed to it and they forget. So I'm gonna look away for a second. I'm just gonna leave it a little oversized just in case I change my mind about the crop. And when I'm done, when I've decided I'm done, I'm gonna take these down to the studio and I'm gonna use my cropper machine just to get them nice and straight so they're more professional. I don't usually do a lot of curves, but it might be nice to have a little bit of that. Gray and red is always one of my favorites. Look at that. Oh, that's so nice. Drama. Very dramatic. Sometimes just that would be nice. Interesting. Very elegant curve. See, that's nice. I don't know if this matches the other ones and the boldness. Not as bold, more subtle. But what I could do is a pop of boldness somehow. Like maybe a shape on top. It's right in the center, which I don't love. I don't like going right to the center, but ooh, I like that negative shape in there. That's cool. Look at that. That's interesting. I'm starting to like that. That's beautiful. Just really beautiful right there. I think, I mean, I love that. I don't know if it's really killing me, but let's see. Maybe something like that. That's nice. What do you think? Do you like that one? Cute. I took a little break and organized my collage materials because it was starting to get a little chaotic and messy. So I have everything laid out here really nicely so I can see it all at once. I also went to go see if I could remove that smudge that was on the mat, and it came off luckily with this kneadable eraser. It just sort of delicately tapped it on there. So that's a relief to me because otherwise that mat is basically useless. So I'll be a little bit more careful from now on. And I was thinking about things, and I felt like where I was going with that last piece here was maybe not as much in the spirit of the Kilim that I wanted. So I don't know, maybe I want some more geometric-y type pattern. So I got my little scissors out here because these were a little awkward. These are actually big kitchen scissors. It's kind of sad because I love the way that that rough edge looks, and when I'm cutting it with the scissors, that'll be cut off and smoothed. So maybe we'll do... And you can tell, since I walked away and I took a break, that I find this task of composing much easier. Sometimes when I spend hours and hours doing things, I just stop seeing. And then when I come back to it, it's just like, oh, it's so simple. It just flows. Beautiful colors. I love it. I love it. Gorgeous. I actually really like the simplicity of that one. So I'm going to stick with that. To finish these pieces of art, I went downstairs in my studio and I cut these backing squares at 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches, which will be slightly bigger than this opening. And I used the studio watercolor paper, this Fabriano, because, oops, that's coming off, because it's a really nice quality and it's like cardstock. So when I mount these to the backing, they will just have a nice sturdy feeling, and if someone ever takes the artwork out of the frame, then it will have a substantial and high quality feel to it. And I just wanted it to fit behind this 3 3/4 opening, which is what the final frame holds. And I also fixed these with this, it's a Krylon UV resistant acrylic coating, and this protects it from sunlight. So if the artwork is in a sunny room, it won't fade. And it also has a moisture resistant coating. So if it gets water on it, it'll just bead. Great, so I have my sized pieces. I only did 7. I have leftover collage paper here, and I culled through the ones that I didn't like. I was being somewhat selective because I don't like collecting a lot of collage paper. It can just start to overwhelm and you don't have places to store it. So I just kept my favorite pieces, and I think I'll make the 8th one at some point. And now I'm gonna mount these on the card backing. And I use this 3M general purpose spray adhesive. Now this is not as forgiving as a glue stick. You could use a glue stick if you want. You could use a medium and brush it on there, but I like this because it's just kind of neat and clean and fast. But you have to be careful, because if you mess up it's not forgiving. Like once you get the card on there, you can't really slide it around like you can with a glue stick. So after these are mounted with the spray, they'll be ready to go, and it'll be my favorite part because we get to put them inside the frame in the mat. I've gone ahead and opened a bunch of these frames already and taken the plastic off. Not really my favorite part of doing this. It's sort of an assembly line that I have going on here. I try to keep these, I try to touch them as little as possible. And I try to be really careful when I'm opening them. So I am wearing gloves. These are actually a little too big for me. It's probably better if they were a little tighter fit. I like to keep these corners for when I have a show and I don't want the corners to get banged up. So you just use these when you're about to transport them. And I have a can of air that comes in handy. So another thing about these frames that I find a little irritating is that they come with these stands, and obviously it's your prerogative if you want to keep these, but I don't like them. I find that they get in the way and I just take them off. So I cut this ribbon here at the bottom and then just snip it off. Sometimes the whole thing comes off, this piece of metal, and sometimes it doesn't. Okay, so now from underneath, I just pop that so I'm not touching things too much. Pop it again, get rid of this piece of paper. Don't need that. Now the mats, I try to just not touch very much, just by the edges. Okay, so now I have to get this plastic off with these gloves on. That should be fun. But at least I'm not getting my greasy fingerprints all over them, right? These are plastic, fine with me, especially when you're transporting them and you could be handing them over to a gallery owner. You never know what's going to happen. And I like these because they look great. And they look like glass, and they're just a little bit more lightweight. Oh, I forgot to use the dust off. So basically, I'm just getting those little annoying specks of dirt out from under there that sometimes fly in there when you're opening up the package. Okay, dust it, dust. Dusty dust, dust. Okay, now the fun part. Put a lot of time and effort into it, pulling those jelly prints and mixing the paints. And yeah, I saved the corners and I'll just put those in a plastic bag or something for later. Let's get started with our first one. Oh, also, I need artist tape. Hold on. This artist tape is a little bit different from regular masking tape. It's got a little bit more of a sheen and it just looks a little bit more professional. I think it also doesn't have as much stickiness. And taking tape off with gloves is really fun. Maybe I'll just get a big piece here. Did you guys see the bear? He cuts the tape perfectly like this. With the perfect ends. That's how I like it too. I know I just dusted that, but I'm gonna do it again. Okay, so I don't even need to take those mats out. I'm just gonna take our first piece of art here, which I have not signed, but I will do that really quick and just show you how I do it. I have these nice ballpoint pens. These are my favorite ballpoint pens. I love these. I love clicky pens. They're from Kikkerland. The signature isn't going to be seen, obviously, but if anyone ever takes the art out later and you become a famous artist, then obviously they want to know that it's you. Print my name out. Oh, I have to make sure it's the right way. Yeah, that's right. Come in, and then I'm gonna have my little mark and the year. All I have to do is cut off a little piece of tape here and put it on the top. Like so. Maybe give that a little dust so that I can see it. I have to flip it, but just kind of get it. And make sure that's right. And that's all. I don't add tape to the bottom. It stays firm in here when you put the backing on it. And then you don't have too much tape to deal with. So let's see, this is the top. These are these little things you can bend so that you can hang a nail off of it. Drum roll, please. There we go. Look at that. So pretty. First one looks good.